Oh, Kendra, I need a word with you. It's actually really important. You really need to hear this. There's no mistake that you'll end up being single for your whole entire life. You're just so unlucky in love, aren't you?
Is this you, Heidi? What are you talking about? What's brought this on all of a sudden? What are you trying to say, Heidi?
I think you know what I'm trying to say here, Kendra. You're such a plain, depressing and gloomy person. No wonder no man wants to be with you because you're that depressing to be around. If you had at least half the cheerfulness that I have, you would be living a slightly better life. As for getting a marriage partner, well, your personality specifications might not be that good as a girlfriend, but something might be there that some guy will think you're a catch. You know, it really is a shame that you'll be alone for the rest of your life. Oh my god, I think I'm tearing up with how much of a shame it is. You poor thing, Kendra.
Okay, thanks for that, Heidi. Really needed to read that. You just say things so casually, just out of the blue.
Oh, you're most welcome. It's my pleasure. Do you really think that I feel sorry for you or something?
Oh, by the way, I've got something to tell you since you're messaging me. Next Sunday afternoon, there will be guests coming over to my parents' house.
Oh, really now? May I ask who these mystery guests are, or are you just going to keep it a big secret?
My fiancé is coming over to talk with my parents. He's going to ask my parents' permission to marry me.
Excuse me, what? What are you talking about? Are you actually being serious right now? What fiancé? Your fiancé? That can't be possible, can it? He's going to meet your parents for the first time, and he's going to ask for your hand in marriage? He's getting their permission?
Yes, that's what I just said. My boyfriend and I met at the same university. We're planning to get married and register our marriage in about a year's time.
No way, what? You can't be serious. Is this for real? You're actually dating someone? Like an actual man? He's real? He's living and breathing?
Well, that's what I just stated, Heidi. I don't get why you don't believe me. I think my mother will talk to my brother tonight about my fiancé. I'll leave it up to them to decide whether or not they want to meet him at this point in time.
Wow, I just can't believe that it's true. You've actually got a man who wants to marry you?
Yeah, well, I'm going on a date with him right now, so if you'll excuse me, I'm going to have to end this conversation here.
But why? I'm not done talking to you. You leave and throw all this information at me? Are you actually telling the truth, Kendra? I have so many more questions to ask, though. Spencer, we need to talk. It's urgent. You won't believe what's going on. Have you finished work? If you've finished work, please message me. Have you heard from my mother-in-law at all? Has she mentioned anything to you?
Oh, hey, Heidi. What are you talking about? I don't think she mentioned anything recently. Did something happen?
You're not going to believe what I just found out. Kendra has a man, like a real man with flesh and bones.
Really? That can't be right. She's actually dating some guy? Like a real human being?
Yes, a real human being. Apparently she's going to introduce him to her parents so that the guy can get permission from them to marry Kendra. He's coming by their house next Sunday, I assume.
What the heck? That's crazy. I can't believe that she actually has a man. Well, before you know it, it somehow happened. She's no more than a pathetic, depressing younger sister who somehow managed to get a guy to like her.
I heard from her earlier, and she mentioned that they attended the same university and that they started dating. Oh my god, I can't actually believe any of this.
What are you talking about? What's happened now?
Kendra's actually graduated from university? I just realized that. It didn't sink in until now.
Yeah, let me think. Yeah, she definitely did graduate from university.
But from where, though? Where did she go that would accept her and let such a pathetic girl study at such an institution?
Heidi, she went to Cornell University.
No way. Really? She went there? Isn't that one of the most prestigious universities in the United States? I thought she was only just a high school graduate and did nothing much with her life. I didn't think she could be accepted to a place like Cornell. That's so hard to believe.
I didn't think I said that she was just a high school graduate. Maybe you just forgot that she went to university.
Maybe. I don't know. I probably didn't listen to her when she mentioned it. Wait a second. So does that mean her fiancé also went to Cornell as well? What the heck is going on here? I can't believe this crap. It's just so annoying.
Okay, Heidi, I understand. why don't you just try calming down just a little bit, okay?
How can I calm down, Spencer? This is so unfair. How can she get into a school like that when she's so pathetic and depressing? That is so unfair.
Look, Heidi, this isn't something to get too worked up over, okay? Hey, just because they both went to Cornell University doesn't mean they got amazing grades and were excellent students, right?
But that doesn't make sense to me. It's still an amazing school and they got in. What are you even saying?
After all, someone from Cornell like him would of course most likely be the kind of person that would choose Kendra as a partner anyways. Besides, in this day and age, your educational background or your status in society aren't always equal to each other. You could be a complete lowlife.
Ah, I see what you mean. So they could be just as bad as each other, really. That makes sense, right?
Exactly, Heidi. So in all honesty, I don't think there's any point in worrying about it.
That's true, yes. I'll stop worrying so much about this. I guess I was just disappointed and so perplexed about finding this out that I lost the plot a little. You know, you're absolutely right about all of this. Hey, Spencer, because it's such a big deal that she found some poor guy that he's going to marry her, how about I take a stance on not meeting this lowlife until the day of Kendra's wedding? That'll really stir things up, huh?
I don't get what you mean. Why would you want to do that? I thought that maybe you'd want to get as much information out of him as possible.
Because we are such a superior couple who are much better than them, there's no need for us to see them before the wedding. It's so we can show that we don't want to mix with the likes of them. They're just lowlifes, and their marriage is going to be so insignificant.
Ah, okay. I get what you mean now. That's a pretty extreme thing to do, but I can see why we should do that. You're always so good at coming up with interesting things, Heidi. You're very savage, you know that? Let's do it and put it into practice. It's going to be so funny when they see that we want nothing to do with such scums like them.
Hey, Spencer. Hello, what are you up to? You're coming straight to the wedding venue after your night shift, right? Will you be able to find the place? Or have you already arrived?
Hey, I just got to the venue now. Isn't it great to have a wedding at such an amazing venue? This fella that Kendra's with is super cheeky. It's like he's pulling out all the stops to make it look like he's not such a lowlife. Don't you think it makes sense for a little sister to have a wedding that's a bit more modest than her brother's wedding? You would think that she'd consider that. Of course, this guy she's with didn't.
That's so true, Spencer. You're so right. How dare she be like this, trying to show up her own brother and thinking she's better than you? Even though she's just a plain and pathetic little girl.
Okay, Heidi. I think you need to settle down about this, all right? You're getting way too carried away. This is my sister we're talking about.
Hey, if you don't breathe air into the fire, Spencer, it can get dangerous. That's all I'm doing in this situation. Don't you think that I should do something about your pathetic sister? I am such a genius. I'm so clever. What a successful surprise. Or maybe it would be more fitting to say, what a huge success instead. I can't decide which one is better to say.
Is that you, Heidi? I don't get what you're on about. You don't happen to be drunk, are you?
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I quite possibly could be drunk. I had a drink with my friends and then came straight to your wedding ceremony. If I want to have some fun, I really need to have a few drinks. You know, Kendra, I was looking forward to seeing a drab and super depressing wedding because that's what you are. I was so shocked to see how magnificent the wedding venue looks. You're just trying to show off now, aren't you? So as punishment for ruining my mood, I'll just push you from the top of the stairs and boom, down you fall. It was so funny. I crack myself up sometimes.
Heidi, do you have a clue about what you did? Did you even think through all of this?
Yes. You think I should apologize to you, right? Well, I'm sorry that I had no choice but to push you down the stairs. I was drunk and my hand just slipped. I couldn't help but be off balance.
And now I'm injured. Don't you even feel just a little bit of remorse? Don't you care about other people's feelings?
Look, Kendra, a bride wearing a white dress and white bandages goes so well together. It'll become such a well-known look now, huh?
Are you kidding me, Heidi? Is that all you wanted to say about this?
Oh, don't get so angry now. Not that I'm scared of you or anything. You're so pathetic, Kendra. Your brother was also in a bad mood. I guess it just comes with being a part of such a crappy family. He's right here besides me laughing at this whole mess.
That person isn't part of the family.
Excuse me? What are you talking about? Stop making me get confused.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Heidi. Think about what just happened really carefully, all right? You realize that this is a very serious situation, right? Did you notice that the person you threw down the stairs was taken away in an ambulance?
Oh, is that right? Well, oops, my bad. It's okay because you're trying to act all high and mighty anyways.
Heidi, if it was me that you pushed down the stairs, how am I messaging you if it happened less than an hour ago? Are you still not getting the picture?
What do you mean? Didn't I push you down the stairs? So what if you're messaging me after?
You pushed the wrong person if you were aiming to push me instead. You didn't push me down the stairs. You pushed my friend, Heidi.
Wait, what? Oh, did I? It was your friend. Well, if it was just a friend that I pushed, then it should be no big deal. So on behalf of my family, I apologize to you for getting the wrong person.
You can't just talk to me like that. You are so rude, and you need to take the consequences of your actions.
What? You? Aren't you brave for not calling me by my name? I'm so scared.
Hey, you big jerk of a brother. We need to talk, you disgusting human being.
I beg your pardon? What is with that language? What did I do? What's with you calling your own brother disgusting human being? That's not nice.
You know that I saw the messages that my oh-so-lovely sister-in-law sent me, right? Did you know that the person Heidi pushed down the stairs and that we had to get an ambulance for was my friend?
Yeah, I might have known about that. Well, I'm sure your friend is probably a similar type of person as you since you're both friends. Sad and pathetic, I bet.
It was Sasha Bennett that was pushed down the stairs.
What? Who are you even talking about? How am I supposed to know all of your pathetic friends?
Are you kidding me right now, Spencer? I won't take that as an answer. Surely you must remember her name. Think about it, you idiot.
Sasha Bennett, you say? Oh, crap. Wait a minute. No way. Can't be. She's not a relation of Mr. Bennett, my company's boss, is she?
Ding, ding, ding. You finally got it. The woman who was pushed is your company's president's daughter.
No. This can't be happening. This simply can't be true.
May I ask why not? Don't you see that it's already happened?
There's no way that such a plain and pathetic person like yourself has any sort of friendship with a glamorous person such as my boss's daughter. This must be some sort of crappy joke.
Why would I joke about my friendships? Both of us went to Cornell. We were in the same year.
I'm sorry, what? She went to Cornell as well?
Yes, I did just say that. I suppose I should also tell you just one more thing.
What is it now, Kendra? You're already making me stressed out as it is.
You and Heidi never made the effort to meet my fiancé, or rather, you completely avoided him as you had no interest in meeting him, am I right?
Yeah, and? What's wrong with that? If we don't want to meet your pathetic fiancé, then we don't have to. Why do we need to meet a man who's choosing such a lower-leveled woman like you? Just being related to a superior couple like us is enough to make you feel at least somewhat feisty, even though you're so boring.
Okay. Do you have the invitation on hand right now?
Yes, I do. But what's that got to do with this?
Haven't you even looked at the groom's name?
I don't see much point looking at his name if he's going to marry you.
Don't be an idiot and read what the invitation says. Look at his name.
There's no point, Kendra. I don't care and will never care about this guy you're marrying. Okay, what's going on here? Fine. I'll look at the stupid invitation. The groom's last name is Bennett. What the heck is this? Some sort of cruel joke? Just hold up a minute, Kendra. Is this for real? If I'm not mistaken, my boss had twins. A daughter and a son. No way. You're not marrying my boss's son, are you?
Oh, yes, I am, big brother. It's his son. He was also in the same year as me at Cornell. That's how we met.
But how can someone like him be into you? I don't understand this situation.
Well, of course, this doesn't mean it's okay to push someone down the stairs or not. Your own wife just pushed your boss's daughter, and the groom is his son. With that, it seems that the position you're both in is a bit like walking the plank. You're going to be in a lot of hot water with your boss, I'm sure.
This can't be happening. This is a complete disaster.
I guess there's no need to give any more of an explanation. You've got all the information you need.
You can't be serious right now, Kendra. You've gone and messed everything up.
Now, just hold up a minute, Kendra. You could have told me all of this in advance, so none of this would have happened.
Well, I did try to tell you, Heidi, but you weren't taking any of it in, so I couldn't say a word without your criticism.
This is ridiculous. I can't believe this. This is so bad.
You avoided meeting my fiancé and refused to meet him, and now it turns out that you're his enemy.
This can't be real. You're lying to me. There's no way that I would have known that something like this would happen if we hadn't met. I wish I had met you without being so amused about the situation.
That shouldn't be what you regret, Heidi. You're an idiot, just like my brother.
Spencer, you need to reply to me right now. Where the heck did you go? Don't you think it's bad to run off whilst I was in the middle of messaging your pathetic sister?
Would you just shut up, Heidi? You've gone and messed everything up. You screwed up big time. I don't want to be with you. I want a divorce.
What the heck, Spencer? Why? I've barely done anything wrong.
If you're going to be like that, you're definitely going to get arrested for what you did. It's no joke that the filth in this society are people like you, my own wife.
Excuse me? How dare you say that to me? I'm not filth. You're the one who agreed to your sister's punishment, didn't you, Spencer?
But you're the one who went through with it, not me. I had many complaints about Kendra because she's my sister. I would never go to the extent of trying to push her down a flight of stairs.
Oh, so now you think it's okay for your own wife to be treated like a criminal then? Doing what I did is not that bad.
If you can't see what you did was wrong, then I'm divorcing you. That's why I don't want to be your husband. I don't want to be involved in the downfall.
What did you just say? You can't just leave me when you're just as bad.
Hey, Kendra, why have I been cut off by the family? I divorced that horrible wife. That has nothing to do with me, I swear. And by the way, I have received a transfer offer to Kansas City Town sales office. If I get transferred there, I won't be able to get promoted anymore, and I'll be downgraded to just a regular employee who's been there for a number of years.
So, why are you telling me this?
Well, you're married to my company president's son, right? The wedding was actually quite a small one in the photos with a small party of relatives. Sasha's injuries weren't life-threatening either. The ceremony was held at a different time due to the circumstances at the venue, but it wasn't canceled. So I'm now the next president's brother-in-law and his wife's older brother. Don't you think it's odd to be demoted? Please say it's odd and help me get back on my career path. Please, Kendra.
What were you saying earlier? It won't be my husband who inherits the company. It's the person who got into an accident. It'll be Sasha who takes over.
Excuse me, what? It's not going to be your husband?
My husband works for a company in a completely different industry and has no connection to his father's company.
Can't be serious. Is Sasha who will be in charge after my boss?
As it was your place of work, I assumed that you knew the details, you know?
I didn't know. This must be some sort of lie. I can't believe it. But my elite life, it'll all disappear if I get demoted.
Oh well, big brother. I don't want to carry on with this conversation with you.
But this can't happen to me. Are you all pranking me?
Good luck with your life, Spencer. Goodbye.
But my elite life. No, I need it. Help me, Kendra.
It seems that my brother was having a breakdown, but I just ignored him. After the incident, a complaint was filed against Heidi. As for my brother, he seems to be telling me that he wasn't involved in the crime. However, considering his current behavior, it's difficult to say that he's completely blameless. The punishment came in the form of being cut off by my family and demotion from the company. But what happened to Heidi? They were unable to reach a settlement, and now she's got a criminal record, and she's being asked to pay compensation and all the medical bills. To pay for this, a relative who runs a business seemed to reluctantly hire her. No one in her family seems to be kind to her after what she did. She had become the snob of her family and always thought she was in the right. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this. Anita! Oh, hello, Flora. Please give me back my son's baseball hat. You can't just go and steal someone else's stuff. I thought he had lost it or something, but then I saw your son wearing it yesterday. Huh? What in the world are you talking about? I didn't do anything of the sort. But the one my son was wearing yesterday was a new baseball hat that I had bought for him. You see, my son is a fan of the professional baseball team on his hat. What? Don't you think that's strange? Because the team on that baseball hat is the juvenile baseball team my son is a part of. What do you mean he's a fan? It's not even a professional baseball team in the first place. Are you sure about that? Who knows? Maybe they just use the same hats. It's true that there is a professional baseball team with the same colored hats, but the team logo on the front is completely different. Oh, and I sewed my son's name and uniform number on the hat, which I clearly saw on the one your son was wearing. What? Seriously? Oh, my bad. Maybe it was your son's hat after all. Yes, the one I bought for my son was slightly different now that I remember it. He must have picked it up thinking it was his. It must have been an honest mistake. There's no point in your son having that hat anyways, and if he's not a part of the baseball team, then people will know immediately that it's stolen if they see him wearing it. Besides, the coach at my son's baseball team is Mr. Tor, so if he sees your son wearing that, you know? So if it was an honest mistake, just like you say, then just give it back already. Mr. Tor? That crazy old man I sometimes see at the park? He's not crazy, he's just very strict and direct with people. Mr. Tor lives nearby, so if he sees your son wearing that, he's sure to call the police on you. The police? Are you sure I have to give it back to you? I mean, my son seems to really like it, and your son could always just get a new hat because he's a part of the team, right? No, it's my son's hat, and I'm not just going to let you have it. If you don't want to have the police called on you, then give me back the hat. Fine, I'll put it in your mailbox. Understood. Please bring it now. What? Now? Can't I just give it back to you when I feel like it or something? No. Give it back right now, please. If you don't, I'll tell Mr. Tor and the police. Fine, I get it. I'll bring it right now. Sheesh, you're making such a big deal out of this. It's just a hat, you know. I don't care if it's just a hat. What you're doing is theft, Anita. Don't do anything like this ever again. You're accusing me of being a thief? I told you it was just an honest mistake, and my son must have picked it up thinking it was his because I had bought him one that looked similar. I'm telling you, it was an honest mistake. Yeah, and he never noticed my son's name and uniform number sewed on the hat? I made sure to make it stand out precisely so no one would take it by accident. Next time, I won't be so forgiving and just call the police immediately. Fine, I won't. Just shut up already. You're making such a big deal out of this. Hey, Flora, I saw you entering your house just now. What in the world are you doing? Huh? What am I doing? I went to the supermarket to buy some stuff. You went to the supermarket? I don't think you have the luxury to be doing such things considering the situation. You called me out so many times before, but when you're the one in trouble, you just lie like it's so easy for you. That's what's called a hypocrite, Flora. All I ever do is make honest mistakes, but what you're doing right now is simply despicable. What? I don't know what you're talking about, Anita. Why are you in such a fuss? Your child just got taken away by an ambulance. I don't understand how you can just be so calm. Huh? Are you sure that it was my child? Yes, he was wearing your son's hat. I don't know who called the ambulance, but you noticed it come, right? There were so many people watching as well. I don't get why you can just pretend you don't know what's happening. Your own child got into an accident and was taken to the hospital, but you won't even go visit him since it's too much of a hassle for you. Hold on. I'm telling you, leave your house and go to the hospital right now. By the way, that accident wasn't my fault, all right? Huh? What do you mean it wasn't your fault? First of all, I don't know what you're talking about, and second of all, I never said it was your fault. Anyways, my son is in the house right now, so it can't be him. Huh? Are you sure about that? Yeah, he's practicing baseball in the yard right now. What? He's practicing baseball? But he just got into an accident and was taken to the hospital. How could he have recovered so fast? Are you being serious right now, Anita? I'm not saying that he's already back from the hospital, but that he was never taken to the hospital in the first place. The ambulance you're talking about is the one that drove by our house on the way to the main road, right? Yes, that one. So your son was taken to the hospital after all. No, I'm telling you, he wasn't. Are you even listening to a word I say? Why do I even bother talking to you? At the time the ambulance came, I was at the supermarket across the main road. When I got home, I saw there was a crowd of people gathered at the side of the road. I saw there was an ambulance as well, so I thought something must have happened, but I didn't bother looking and just went inside. Oh, and once I got home, both my son and mother-in-law welcomed me back, which means that my son wasn't the one who was hospitalized, and I don't know what you're talking about. But, and this is completely unrelated, but we already moved. Huh? When did you move? You see, my husband was relocated at work, and so we decided to move to where his new office is. We've already bought a new house. But I have work as well, and my son has school, so the three of us, me, my son, and my mother-in-law, are going to be staying here for a bit longer. My father-in-law and my husband have already moved to our new house. We're planning on going there tonight and having dinner. Besides, my son is right in front of me, so what you've been saying all this time is nonsense. You must have mistaken someone else for my son. What? Then who was that taken away by the ambulance? I could have sworn it was your son that got into an accident. Anita, you really shouldn't bother yourself with such things. It's none of our business. We'll just cause trouble if we start a commotion over something we don't have anything to do with. And if we did have something to do with it, we would have gotten a call from the hospital or police or something. If the person who was carried away was our neighbor, then we'll find out soon who it was and what happened, right? Why are you insisting so much that it was my son anyways? Did you get a close look and think it was him or something? Maybe you thought it was my son because it was some kid from nearby that looked like him, but thankfully nothing's happened with us here, so don't worry. Oh, is that so? Oh, it's fine if that's the case, though. I don't care if it has nothing to do with your son. Bye then. Hello, Anita? I found out who was taken away by the ambulance yesterday. You seemed to be bothered about it a lot, so I'll share the information with you. Who was it? Apparently it was the son of Mr. Tor, the coach at my son's baseball team. What? That was Mr. Tor's son? Yep. I went to today's baseball practice with my son and saw that Mr. Tor's son wasn't there. So I asked him about it and he told me about yesterday's accident. Apparently a bicycle that was going full speed crashed into him when he turned a corner. Luckily he wasn't seriously injured, but he hit his head, so he went to the hospital to have it checked up just in case. Oh, is that so? I'm glad nothing serious happened to him. But apparently the person that ran into him fled the scene, and they still don't know who it was. What a sick person. To think that they would crash into an elementary school student and just flee the scene without even thinking to help. But if they had stayed and helped, surely they would have had to face the consequences of crashing into a child. It's only natural that they fled the scene, in my opinion. Is that a crime, do you think? Of course it is. Fleeing the scene is what a coward would do, Anita. An honest person would stay and do whatever they could to make up for his or her mistake. Even though it was just a bicycle, what this person did was clearly illegal. You can't just be going that fast on a sidewalk. It's against road laws. Yeah, you're right, I guess. Besides, if it was an honest mistake, they probably wouldn't have had to go to prison or something like that, right? But I don't know that even city bicycles are subject to road laws. Huh? It's so scary that there are all these laws we don't even know about, don't you think? I'd better watch out myself. Oh, I remembered I have to do something. Bye. Okay. Flora, something terrible has happened. What should I do? What do you think is the best thing to do at times like this, Flora? I need your advice. Why are you panicking so much? The police are at my front door. I'm scared to open it, so I'm pretending that no one's home. What? You can't just pretend to not be there when the police are at your door. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. If you didn't do anything, there's no reason to be scared of the police, so why don't you just open the door and see what they want from you?
No, I'm not going to open the door.
Why not?
Because
you did something and that's why you're hiding from the police?
Huh? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything to deserve being locked up. Do you suspect me of being a criminal or something?
I never said that you did anything that would get you locked up. And if there's nothing suspicious about you, then there's no need to hide from the police, is there?
I mean, I didn't mean it like that. It's just that...
If that's the case, then you should just open the door and talk to them, right?
But I can't, all right? It's hard to explain.
You panicked at the sight of the police, and so without even thinking, texted me asking for help, even though it will only make things worse. Did I get that right? I think the best thing for you to do right now is to just accept that we all know about what you did now.
What are you talking about? You're not making any sense.
Hey, Anita, don't you realize that you messed up yesterday during our conversation?
Huh? What do you mean I messed up?
When I was telling you about the bicycle accident Mr. Torr's son got into, I only said that a bicycle crashed into his son, right? But for some reason, you knew what type of bicycle crashed into him, saying something about how it was so scary that even city bicycles are subject to road laws. Up until then, you seemed to know nothing about the accident, but for some reason you knew the type of bike that crashed into Mr. Torr's son.
Seriously?
I thought it was strange how you seemed to be so panicked about the accident at first when you thought it was my son and not Mr. Torr's son that was hospitalized.
You suspected me from the start?
Well, it's not like all this proves with certainty that you're the one who crashed into Mr. Torr's son and fled the scene. All I did was tell Mr. Torr, the victim's father, about my suspicions.
Why did you do that?
What, did you think I would just stand by and let you get away with this? Oh, and by the way, it's not certain that it was me that caused the police to come to your house like this. There's a possibility that you were suspected of being the culprit from the start and that they were already investigating you.
Why is that? Why would they suspect me? Do I really look that much like a criminal?
That's not what I meant. Apparently, a lot of houses around here have security cameras watching the entrance to their house. So they might have already found evidence that you were the culprit before I told Mr. Torr anything.
Security cameras?
Yes, you only moved here 1 year ago, so maybe you didn't know, but this area was once terrorized by multiple thefts a few years ago.
Theft?
Yeah. After that, everyone learned a lesson, and they made contracts with security companies and set security cameras and stuff. So you know what that means, right?
Hold on. So you're saying that I was caught on a security camera?
I don't know for sure, but surely the police around here know how a lot of people have security cameras in this area. And so they probably asked them to cooperate by providing footage. Oh, but it's just a possibility, all right?
No way. This can't be happening.
Anita, what's wrong?
They found out. They know I did it. To think that it was Mr. Torr's son as well.
Anita, are you seriously just realizing this now?
But I even got rid of the evidence and threw away my city bike. I thought that they wouldn't have anything to tie me to the accident.
What?
And they still found out? How is that even possible? Besides, it's that baseball hat of theirs that's the problem. He was wearing the same hat as your son's, which is why I thought it was him when I ran into him. But it had to be Mr. Torr's son of all people. I shouldn't have texted you that day. This never would have happened.
Anita, do you realize that you're basically telling me that you ran into Mr. Torr's son on purpose because you thought he was my son? What are you trying to do, confessing your crimes to me like this? What do you want me to do about it? You think I'm going to help you or something?
Huh? No, it's just that...
You were careful enough to get rid of the evidence by throwing away your city bicycle. But for someone that goes that far, you're pretty scatterbrained, Anita. Maybe if you were a bit less stupid, you would have made a better thief.
No, that's not what I meant when I said that I didn't mean that I purposefully ran into Mr. Torr's son because I thought he was your son. You're misunderstanding.
I'm going to tell the police, okay?
No, don't. My punishment is just going to get worse if you tell them.
Apparently, the police knew from the start that she was actually home and just pretending to not be there. Anita tried to flee from the back door, but they were already waiting for her there and captured her. Apparently, she was arrested without even undergoing an investigation first. Oh, and the city bicycle that she disposed of was apparently stolen as well. After a bit more investigation, the police found out that she's guilty of several such petty crimes, and so Anita was locked away behind bars. Anita's husband, on the other hand, went to all the families that Anita had caused trouble for and apologized, and after that, he divorced Anita and moved, bringing their children with him. Anita's parents fled without saying a word, ashamed at what their daughter had done. So, when Anita finally got out of prison, she had nowhere left to go. And since she still had to pay for several alimonies and hospitalization bills and stuff, she was hardly free, even though she just got out of prison.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Yo, leader of these stupid contractors. We are going to make your delivery date even sooner.
Good evening, Nick. You can call me Candace, by the way. I understand that my company is full of contractors that supply parts for you, but it'd be nice if you still referred to me by my actual name, please.
Sure. So you're gonna get those parts to me even sooner, right?
I'm sorry to say this, but I don't believe that we can.
Huh? Are you kidding me right now? You're nothing more than the leader of a small contractors group who does nothing more than make spare parts for larger firms like me. And you're saying you can't get a job done sooner for me?
I'm just telling you the reality of the situation, and asking for those parts sooner isn't going to happen.
Then in order to make things go more quickly over at your factory, I'm going to be sending some of my men over to help. Mike, Brent, and Stuart.
Huh? Are you sure you want to send those 3? As far as I'm aware, they're all your top 3 performing workers, and they shouldn't be asked to come help with my team. And haven't they been with you since you started?
What difference does that make to me? I'm sending them to help you out because those 3 ended up stabbing me in the back. So I had them all fired for that.
Don't you think you've gone a bit too far by doing that to them? They might even take action against you for doing something like that.
Well, it's not like I fired them wrongfully. Those 3 men wanted to change their occupations.
They wanted to change? Wait, you have to understand that those 3 are too old now to be changing their lines of work now.
Jeez. No matter how much I try and break things to you, you can't seem to get a grasp of things. The reason I'm giving them up is because I've hired some friends of my own, and I needed to make space on my payroll, and did so by firing those 3 geezers.
You hired your own friends?
I had some friends who went to the same university as me who said they were looking for some work. And they told me they wanted an easy job that paid them well. And so I made it seem as though those 3 old men stabbed me in the back some way, and then had them fired to make room for my buddies.
Are you being serious?
I'm being very serious right now. So let's get back to what I came here to talk about. I don't need those 3 anymore, so you can go ahead and take them on as your employees and get the work I'm asking for done quicker. Then you won't have to keep making excuses for why you can't get any parts to me.
Hold on. I understand that you want this conversation to wrap up pretty quickly here, but I just want to make sure I have this all down correctly. You originally asked me to have my product to you sooner than the date we had agreed on, but I told you that no matter how much harder I pushed my workers, that wouldn't be possible. And so now you're going to give me 3 of your best men because you've hired some of your own friends to take their spots, and want your 3 best men to help my factory get said work done. However, what happens if we're still unable to get that work done at an earlier date?
As long as you take on those 3 old men, I don't care if you continue aiming for our previously discussed target date.
Understood. So that's going to be our agreement then today?
Correct. So what do you think?
Well, actually, I have one last thing to ask. I'm not completely sure what kinds of skills and trades these 3 men I'm about to hire have, but are you really sure you're okay handing them off to me?
Those 3 are able to get any work you ask them to get done. And they're all willing to work overtime whenever asked to. to make sure any quotas are hit. And as for their skills, you don't even have to worry about that considering they've all worked pretty much every job they've been asked to, and have done them well.
Well, if later down the road you ask for me to give them back to your company, please be aware that I will not.
I'm never asking for them back. They've grown far too old to help me now, and most of their motivation's down the drain now. Go ahead and fire them from your company if you ended up never needing them.
Is that so? Well, if that's what you want me to agree to, then so be it.
I'm not sure how helpful those geezers will be for you, but understand that me getting rid of them will not hurt my productivity in the slightest. So they're all yours now.
Then starting tomorrow, I will be taking on Mike, Brent, and Stuart to start working for me within my company. You don't mind that at all, correct?
Go right ahead. They are already being fired from my company, so you don't need to ask me for permission before doing anything with them.
Is that so? Understood. Thank you, Nick. I'll make sure to put them all to good use.
You sure about that?
Good morning, Mike. Long time no see. This is Candace from Wilds LLC.
My oh my. If it isn't the little girl of Mr. Daniels.
You don't have to keep calling me his little girl anymore. And as of right now, I've been given his company and everything, so you can call me the CEO of Wilds LLC now.
Oh, is that right? He made sure to put his daughter through it all so that she could become the perfect young woman. I can't say the same for the little man in charge of my last job.
Are you talking about that 26-year-old man, Nick, who's taken over your previous company and has started to make a name for himself there?
Right. I'm starting to get a little worried about him, especially after what he's been doing recently.
Well, I've heard all about him.
Huh?
Just yesterday he was talking with me about what he wanted from me, as well as what all happened with you guys. He told me that he had you and 2 other men, Brent and Stuart, fired so that he could hire more of his friends to come work for him.
Is that what happened?
To me, this all seems like unfair termination of your guys' jobs there. And as for me now, I don't mind talking more about what's been happening within that company. So, do you mind telling me a bit more about what's been going on there and why Nick thinks this is all a good idea?
Sure. As far as I'm aware, he's been trying to work on cutting costs within the company so that he looks better in front of his shareholders. But in order to do that, he began sending a lot of his company's work overseas to be done for cheaper by foreign sources.
He's having everything manufactured overseas?
If the products he was having manufactured outside the US were any good, then I wouldn't be complaining. But it seems he doesn't mind that all the products we get in are trash. Well, anyway, if you want to hear the real reason the 3 of us were fired, it's due to us all complaining about the quality of what the company was bringing in from overseas. And the day after we complained, we were all informed that we've been terminated. At least to keep things as clean as possible with the terminations, he was willing to give us all packages.
I see. So this had nothing to do with him hiring friends to work for him then? Well, have you started to think about what you want to do now?
Well, not yet. I'm not sure what to do now. I've been thinking a lot about my family now, and I've been hoping that they understand that it'll be some time before I can find new work. Not only that, but I'm also getting pretty old now.
Mike, if you don't mind, would you like to come work for me?
Well that's...
And it wouldn't be just you that I'm asking, but Brent and Stuart as well. So what do you think?
Well, that is. I'm very thankful for you offering me a position within your company. We don't have too much longer before we all really start to consider retirement. So are you really okay with the 3 of us being hired into your company and working for you?
Well, to tell you the truth, I've actually begun working on creating a new department within my company. And soon I plan to hire in a lot of younger work to begin handling said new department. But I'm going to need a few men with plenty of years of experience in these fields to come in and train them so that they have a better understanding of the demands my company and this industry have. So if I have the 3 of you, with all the knowledge you men hold, join my company and work your last couple of years with me, then I feel that the opening of this new department will go very smoothly for me.
Is that so? thinking that much about how to implement the three of us into your company. Thank you.
Also, having spoken to you about this, do you mind if I go and talk with Brent and Stuart now about the same thing?
Yes, please go tell them.
Then I'll plan to have them both well informed by this time tomorrow. And as for you becoming an employee within my company, I'd like you to tell me before tomorrow what days you'd like off this next year, and if you have any other demands you'd like me to meet.
Understood. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Candace!
Give me back those three right now.
Huh? Ah, this must be you, Nick. It's been around a year now since the last time we spoke to one another. Now, what do you mean by me handing those three back to you?
Those friends of mine that I hired to work for me ended up being completely useless. I thought for sure that since I knew all of them really well and knew the educations they had, they would work well under my leadership. But they haven't been able to do jack for me, and I can't use them anymore.
Well, that would happen, wouldn't it?
Also, here's something I heard while you've been holding on to these three. Apparently they have all been doing very well for themselves, and are considered top class in their fields now. I had to tell a lot of my customers why the quality of my products have gone down, and when explaining to them that I've gotten rid of Mike and those other two, they let me know how stupid I was.
I knew something like this would happen to you. After all, those friends of yours you've told me you hired are actually a bunch of overseas partners that you've been sending all your work off to for cheaper, hoping to save some money, right? Well, it seems that those savings you gained from doing so also ended up ruining the quality of all your products, and now you're left dealing with some very angry customers.
Please, Candace, give those three back to me so that they could fix all of this.
No way.
Why not?
They've made it very clear to me that they don't want to work under you anymore.
Well, I'll make sure to fix things. If you can get them to come back to me, I'll make sure to never rush a production ever again or ask for anything more out of your company.
Ah, no thank you.
What?
I've just finished implementing a new department into my company that has ventured out into some new technologies. And that department has already been making my company tenfold what all the other departments have made. So if I were to send those three back to you, I'd lose my biggest profit maker.
Huh?
Also, on top of that, I told you a year ago when you told me to take them off your hands that if you ever wanted them back, I'd say no. And back then I know for a fact that you agreed with me on that term. So can you please stop trying to break the promise we had?
Candace, please. I'm asking you to please. Please just forget about everything you said to me a year ago and hand those three back to me. That's all I want. I'm not joking when I said that right now. My company is in seriously hot water. If I can't get my company back to producing quality goods, then it's all gonna go under.
Well, telling me all of that isn't going to get you anywhere. I'll be going now.
Hold on a second, Candace. Mike, please. I'm asking you to please come back to my company.
If it isn't my old boss, Nick. It's been such a long time now.
I don't need you to sit there talking like I'm some old friend of yours. Now get your butt back here. I'm telling you right now that I'm willing to hire you again.
I'm sure that what you're saying right now is a load of crap, right?
What are you going on about?
I could have sworn you told Candace that you had the three of us fired to make room for some of your friends to come and work for you, right? And that's the other thing. You didn't want to make it seem as though you fired us for that reason. So you also told Candace that we wanted to change careers anyway, right?
That was...
As far as I'm concerned, you wanted to hide your true intentions from everybody by saying that. Just so you didn't have to fear being taken to court for firing us unfairly. Well, no worries, Nick. We had only been with your company since the day it was founded by your father, and had made sure to work there with all loyalty to you guys. But after being fired by you for BS excuses, I think we no longer see you as the man your father was, and that's okay.
Huh?
As of right now, Brent, Stuart, and I no longer have to be worried about what we are going to do, because we have a new boss in charge of us, who is far more caring about the experiences we have as our employees. And
unlike you, she plans to only hold on to us for the next few years, so that when it's time for us to want to retire, she'll give us a very nice package and let us go. Of course, we could come back to you when our time is up here and we've retired. But remember, we no longer feel loyal to you and your company. So I don't think you'll ever get our help when the time comes. Well, that's if your company is even around by that point. Candace, hey, please. How about you get married to me and then start helping my company get back on its feet so that the two of us can become a power couple?
Are you kidding me?
I understand that it's not what either of us want right now, but I'd much rather be married to you and keep my company than have it to go under and no longer have any money. In other words, I don't have any other choice besides marrying you and getting your help. You don't even have to stay with me after my company is back on its feet. You can divorce me right after that. So please come help me.
Well, listen to this, Nick.
Yes?
I'm already married.
Huh? But your last name? That's the same name as your father's.
Well, that's because my husband ended up taking my family's name. And as of right now, we already have 2 kids, both in elementary school.
What the heck?
So we can be finished here, right?
I'm screwed.
Goodbye now, Nick. In the end, it seems that the second-generation CEO of that company ended up taking the company under. He did make mistakes by thinking he could cut costs by sending workers out to overseas partners to make parts for him. But the thing that really sunk his company was more personal. It's understandable that keeping workers for a very long time will see them costing you more money to keep employed, especially when they're good at their jobs. But Nick made a huge mistake getting rid of 3 of his best men so that he can cut costs, even though they were the ones carrying his company and making sure the quality was right. Anyway, after the loss of his company, he was still in debt to a few banks that he had been taking loans from to try and help his company. And to help start making some money to pay them off, he began working for one of his friends, at the starting level on the floor of the factory. But of course, he never lost that toxic personality of his, and so relations with the other workers within the factory began to sour. And before long, he was out of that job as well. I'm not sure what's happened to Nick since then, but I'm sure he's regretting what he did to his company a while back and will never be able to move on from it. And as for my company, we have been doing really well this year and expect to do even better these coming years thanks to the new department. However, it won't be long before I have to say goodbye to Mike and the guys, as they'll soon be on their way to retiring. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.